Hello, John.
Hello, Oliver.
And so today we're going to talk about Pope Leo was in Turkey and he spoke about the sharing of gifts. He was meeting with the Orthodox Church and he spoke about the search for Christian unity. And so that's what we're going to talk about today.
You're right, and you sent nice details about the meeting there, Oliver. And are they convenient to where you are, or will we just talk about it the way
Yeah,
you put
absolutely.
it?
Look, the thing about it is that to sum it up, really, the Pope is reminding us that unity is a gift, not a takeover. We grow closer to one another, not by erasing our differences, but by offering our gifts generously and receiving the gifts of others with humility. That's basically the message, that he was talking about. He was talking about unity without uniformity. Some of the language
Which is
used
good.
is
Yeah.
very, some of the language used is very, it's very theological. It's actually there's words here I haven't come across in my life. So
It's good. It's straightforward. There are there's been unity and between the Orthodox and the Catholic faith, and there it's good to have unity in that way, because he's there in Turkey, remembering the the Nicaea, what do we call it, the meeting of various bishops and all the rest were in the
I see
Nicaea,
it.
which
I
was
see it. Yeah.
Nicaea in Turkey, and as it was might have been called something else at the time, but it clarified this business of the faith, and this Arian heresy that was affecting various bishops, etc., that was accepting their nonsense. It was defeated, and so they put down the dogma of the Catholic faith as Jesus and the way it was established and all the rest. It was a very important, what do you call it? Council meeting, and
Exactly.
the emperor, what was his name? That started it. Can't think of his name
I'll
there
just
for
read
the
out
me
something
head.
here anyway for you. Okay, so Nicaea is a reminder that the early church spoke with one voice. The creed we all profess, Catholics, Orthodox, and many Protestants, comes from that council, the Council of Nicaea. It shows that unity is not a modern invention, it's part of our shared DNA. Remembering Nicaea helps us rediscover the foundations we have in common.
Exactly. So it was a very important council meeting, and it was the Orthodox and the Catholic faith were the ones at that time. The Protestants didn't come into being until the Reformation, in the 1500s or whatever it was, after Martin Luther did what he did. And so caused this split, if you like. And a lot of persecutions happened. And in this country, we're pretty well familiar with the effects of the Reformation when they chose Pope Henry VIII made himself the head of the church. And so it became a very dangerous time, and there was a lot of persecution. We suffered greatly in this country and probably in other countries as well where it took root, because they took land off the monks and monasteries that were given good food to the local people, and there was a lot of starvation subsequent to it. So there was it was Catholics and Orthodox, and the Protestants hadn't come into the picture. And now there's some talk of unity between them, because I think, I hope, well, I think they have repented for what they did. But the trouble is, there's upwards of 30,000 different Protestant denominations. And now, throughout the world, maybe even more than that, up to 40,000. So But the Anglican business of communion, and there's two different branches. There's traditional and the modern, because they support issues that the Catholic Church certainly doesn't support, which is abortion and same-sex marriage and that type of thing. So you can have conversations, but anything more than that, it'd be just couldn't happen.
I think
Pope,
sorry, go
what?
ahead. Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, Pope Leo is adopting a very conciliatory tone towards the Orthodox and other faiths, the Orthodox Church, and I think the Russian Orthodox weren't there because when the Patriarch of Constantinople recognized the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, the Russians objected. They
Yeah.
don't allow freedom for other people. They want to control, and that's a very dangerous thing. I think they're the only country, and China's the same, that wants to control other countries, and you can't do that. They're entitled to have what they consider that's good for their particular church and Orthodox, and it should be kind of respect each other. But the Russians have this peculiar attitude that they think they want to impose their will on other people that don't want their will.
Yeah.
So the Pope is adopting a very conciliatory tone in his visit to Turkey, and he met the president of Turkey, this President Erdogan or that, and you know, and there's a lot of Orthodox Christians living in Turkey now, so they don't. The business of the Armenian business, that where there was 1.5 million, a million killed in the 1950 to 1980 by the Turkish. It's the people living in Turkey know that happened, but they don't want to keep at it. It's they're living in peace there and able to practice their Catholic faith without being interfered with, and that's the important thing. So the Pope has paid an important visit there, celebrating the 1700th anniversary of this Nicaea um, Council that defined the Catholic faith in a proper, straightforward way, and Apostles' Creed we have now, but now we have the Nicene Creed, which is more involved and more depicting our Jesus and the great Catholic faith. So, and the Orthodox are celebrate the faith in a very meaningful way. They have the only one that's not married is bishops, but their clergy they can be married. They can be married, and three of them generally celebrates their things on facing the tabernacle. And people probably now in some places they would have seats and things like that people can sit. But here in this country, ones that I was at, with your good self, everyone was standing, but somebody provided me with a seat or a chair, so I was able to sit down and while everybody else was standing up, and even people with children and carrying babies, because it's a very family orientated. I was amazed at the amount of people there was at the Orthodox Church, and then they have cathedrals as well. So I presume they've seating for people that not too
Well,
easy to be standing.
as you know, John Malone, I am a very, very big fan of the Orthodox Church in Ireland, and it was me that introduced you to them. And I find great reverence in the Orthodox Church. I find it fascinating. And the
I
whole,
saw that too, and I like that because that gives the people. That's why people and families and all are going to that and holding babies and standing up. I presume with due course they'll have seats so that they can sit down, stand up when they have to stand up, but not be standing for 2 hours because it goes on for a good bit. and people don't be the business of boredom doesn't come into the picture because it's very holy. And then there's a meal afterwards that you don't get, and everybody is very what I call I won't use the word jolly, but very helpful towards one another. It's a
Communal,
very what
communal.
a communal, correct.
Yes.
And the food is quite tasty. It's nearly like a meal. And you don't need to be dining anywhere until the evening when you're perhaps having your tea. So I think it's very good and they're very helpful. I noticed when I was there, somebody come over to translate what they were doing, and you had somebody at the same racket, so they perceive that you're a visitor and you wouldn't be familiar with some things with the way the language that they're speaking. But they're still celebrating their mass the same way as they did centuries ago, and that's very good. They
Yeah.
didn't change, and I'm afraid the Catholic Church, the only growth area in the Catholic Church at the moment is where Mass is celebrated in the universal language of Latin.
Yes.
Churches are packed in the United States and other countries where it's allowed, and I hope Pope Leo opens the door a bit more than this Pope Francis did. He had a very peculiar attitude towards it, a very wrong attitude, because there's not enough vocation to the priesthood in this, what they call this modern rite, or ordo, or they give it some kind of a Latin expression, but it's quite the reverse. And the priest, instead of facing the tabernacle, the same as they do in the Orthodox, he has his back turned to it. But in the Latin rite, the priest is facing the tabernacle and churches are packed, and people like tradition. The Orthodox is a perfect example of it.
It is.
If the Catholic Church had it like that until they changed things in Vatican II. So when you make too many changes, it doesn't work too well. They haven't done that in the Orthodox, and more power to their elbow.
Now, Pope Leo spoke about shared gifts. I assume there what he means is joint prayer services, shared charity product, studying scripture together, and hospitality and all that. Um,
Correct.
so it was a nice, simple message, I thought, that about shared gifts.
His visit to Turkey was very positive to my way of thinking, and then he visited Lebanon, where there's a bit of a problem between there's a church there, Catholic Church, and it's also the Coptic Church. Because I had a doctor here that I know that I attend and when I do go, and I don't go too often. But he's here now a couple of years, married an Italian lady, and he was from his family was from Coptics, and they went to Canada because it just wasn't good, and they did very well, and he's a doctor, he become a doctor in Canada, and he come here, and usually for a year, but now his wife loves the country, and so he's still here, and he's very good. But he was and still he's still practicing. I think it's the Orthodox now he's going to here,
Hmm.
but with the Coptic Christians, which is something similar to the Orthodox, they still have their same traditions. So his visit to Lebanon, just to digress from Turkey, was to encourage the people to live in peace, and it didn't get as much highlight as the Turkey visit because it was the anniversary, the 1700th anniversary of this Council of Nicaea. And but so they were very important visits, and he's preaching a very good way of going on unity, and he has a traditional way of behaving which is quite uplifting. This is what we need. We need something like tradition.
We do indeed. So I suppose, look, the message is unity is a gift, not a takeover. He's talking about, that we need to unify, come together and work together.
That's right. And it's good to have shared committees and to have not have an animosity. Now, all the Protestant churches, unfortunately, some of them have a bit of animosity towards the Catholic faith. I'm aware of that, and so are others. Uh, but that'd want to be that'd want to be they would want to change their tune because unity and respect are fundamental to things when they're practicing a Christian faith in their own way. They're all different apparently, and going by their own way, and they're thinking. From one congregation, some of them might say, "No, we want to do it a different way," and then they go off. So there's all these, Protestant denominations, because there's no head. We have in the Catholic Church, we have the Pope, and in the Orthodox, they have the patriarchs that gives guidance, and that's needed in any spiritual organization, religious organization.
So there we go. I think we have Mike in Dundee to thank for this video. He mentioned it in his comments. He said that he would like to see John Malone talking about um, Pope Leo going to Turkey to meet the Orthodox Church. So,
Which is good, yes, and Dundee, yeah, well, it's good, and he's a faithful follower. And there's another chap, or I don't know whether it's a man or a woman, Bernie Doherty, and writes in my when I'm doing my videos in the comments, and it's very positive.
mhm.
So, like, there's people that are letting their views be known, which is good, and they like a lot of what we do, and like what a lot of what I do in my prayer videos that I do, because I keep the same kind of way of going on. I don't be hopping and changing like a fiddler on a roof. You know what I was saying? You
Uh,
should keep it the traditional way because people can relate to that. But if you're hopping like a hen and a hopping like a hen and a griddle, you lose. They don't know where to stand. But if there's the one thing they do know, and I sing the same hymns, except on a Sunday I sing a couple of different ones. But during the week, I sing the same one, Sweetheart of Jesus and Hail Queen of Heaven, and a bit of a talk.
mhm.
Because it's good to talk, isn't it?
Good to
No
talk, John
point of going
Malone.
around with your mouth closed. Huh?
That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Oliver. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.